Okay, so welcome everybody again. This is Silver saying hi from the Wolfpack. We're gonna have a little bit more time of gaming today. you know, Something that I wanna actually do, and I'm gonna be trying to, catch a good rhythm with, is that I'm gonna be playing here with you guys. I'm gonna be showing you what I can do. I will be completely honest with you guys. I do know how to play Minecraft. I have played for quite some time. I actually started playing approximately in 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. And I have the basic notions and everything. I'm not the greatest player ever. That is for sure. You guys are gonna see it. I make a lot of mistakes constantly. And well, at least I just play because I wanna distract myself a little bit. And I think that this is actually something that might give you guys a chance to have exactly the same. Well, with the same idea of becoming myself, content creator, a YouTuber, if you will. There's many different things that you can call me. Like honestly, at this point, I don't even know what is what. I have noticed that there is always a little bit of a trend, and I say this because honestly, I used to love doing that specifically. Myself as a user, watching them making a fool of themselves in a game, whether if they have or not experience, and no matter how good they are, we're always going to be calling them noobs, right? Not the point in the end, but I'm just trying to do. Oh crap, golden. I'm just gonna be trying to do my best to survive in here. As you guys can see, this is not the same server, and well, they're not the same world, not the same. I don't know how to call them, like seed that I was using yesterday, because I had to update my Minecraft. So in this case, I had to start all over again. Now I'm using the Bedrock version, which thankfully is actually a lot more fluid. I'm being able to work in a better frame. So, I was thinking a little bit about what we spoke about yesterday. Perfect. Guys, this is my number one goal whenever I play Minecraft. Whenever I start in a new world, the first thing I want to do always is just to find a small village. Because in that way, I can actually have a little bit of protection. And that is also gonna give me the chance to start getting some resources. Anyhow, it's giving me all the tutorials and everything. This is kind of annoying. So, anyhow, I was thinking a little bit about what I was telling you guys about myself yesterday, how I introduced myself, the idea of the podcast, the idea of the YouTube channel, like what exactly I want to do, what I want the Wolfpack to be. And I was thinking a little bit as well about how I'm gonna be making some differences between the podcast and the YouTube channel. So the way that I wanna manage it, because I am gonna be talking about very similar, if not the same topics. I'm very oriented directly on what it is, mental health. I love, in reality, talking a lot about that because I think it's something that most of us, if not everybody, needs a hand in there every so often. Well, I personally am a person that has gone through a lot during my life. Let's see. Ooh, nice. Oh, perfect. It's actually gonna help me a little bit. So I have had many experiences that I have not known very well how to handle. It gets very complicated whenever you don't have an actual guidance or a friend that you can trust. Bless Fernandez. And it gets very complicated, to be completely honest. It gets extremely challenging to try to navigate through this world when we don't have a safe space to distress a little bit, where we can actually have somebody, a confidant, to listen to us, to help us decompress, to help us just get off that stress from day to day. So what I want to do myself as a content creator, as a podcaster, as a YouTuber, as whatever you want to call me now, I'm gonna be opening myself a little bit. I'm gonna be telling you stories about myself, about my day, my career, everything I do. Ooh, I'm gonna be making golems today. A little bit of everything. I feel that one of the main things that I want to achieve as part of the Wolfpack is to gain your confidence, like earn your trust. Yeah, so, okay. I wanna make sure that you guys get to know the real me as much as you can, so that you can, see and experience the fact that I can relate to what life is. I know how complicated it can actually be. I know how hard does it feel most of the time. I apologize for those kind of things. I have a little bit of very strong OCD. So if I see those kind of like paths in there that they are kind of incomplete, it kind of annoys me. Anyhow. So I'm gonna be talking with you guys. I'm gonna be opening myself while playing these games. We're gonna be talking about different topics in general that you guys have concerns, that you guys want to talk. Pretty much everything that I told you guys yesterday. Okay? So let's see. Oh, fox. Come on. Ah! No! Ah! Well, whatever. So, for today's topic, I was actually thinking about what to speak about, what to talk in general. I was thinking, to be completely honest, this has been a very hard season for me. So, in my personal life, just to talk a little bit about it, both me and my wife, we are both medical assistants. We, of course, live together like we're husband and wife. I went through some experiences where, it's not easy or nice, the type of setting in which I was having some experiences. And this, I mean it because I was working in college. I guess that's as much as I'm gonna say for now. And I was a professor. And, I heard from somebody on a little bit of a higher position in the chain of command in there that they wanted to close my program because the college didn't seem to have it in a position, I guess, an esteem of being an asset for them, like economically speaking, like talking about, money-wise. We were not making the amount of money that they wanted. And, in the end, there's not much I can actually complain about that, because I also recognize the point that, yes, for me, one of the most important points, it was to be there for my students, teach them in the best possible way. I was in charge of a technical program, so I was teaching them actual skills that they were gonna be able to use in the industry. Um, and my main goal was actually to try to give them as much as I could of my own experience. After all, I have been working as a medical assistant, as a certified medical assistant for many years at this point, almost 5. And I have lived quite some experiences. I already went through the industry myself. I have seen a lot of different things, as much good as much bad. Oh, I didn't. Interesting. I didn't know I could sleep in the same bed. Oh, that's really good. Anyhow, yeah. So I was trying to do my best, having the best interest for my students at every point. But I guess the people around me and that in the end sadly takes the decisions for the college, they decided that it was not bringing them the revenue that they were hoping from the program, so they asked me. And the saddest part of how everything actually happened is that they didn't do it in the regular way where you messed up and something happened and they fire you afterwards. But it was, they took a conversation that I had with a student and they literally took it out of context. They decided that that was grounds enough to fire me, and well, I'm unemployed right now. Which is, it complicates life a little more than usual. Anyhow, I have been looking for jobs and everything, but it gets really hard. It actually hits you deep into your feelings when something like that happens, because it doesn't matter how everybody tells me, hey, you gotta get over it, just keep going. It's really hard. You feel very isolated because it's not so easy to accept that you were doing everything that you can. You were doing absolutely the best possible effort that you were capable of. My students, they were actually having a really good time while learning. I was actually able to connect with them in such a level that I was actually giving them really good knowledge. And at the same time, I had a really good interpersonal relationship with them. But, well, I guess it's the dedication I was given as a professor. It was not what the college was looking for. In the end, they look for revenue, they look for money. For them, it's more a business than anything. So, whatever. The reason why I'm going through this, like telling you guys this story and everything, it's just to try to get on the topic a little bit for today. So there's many people at this point that I have spoken since I got fired and everything, and everybody tells me like, okay, you just gotta step up, you gotta make sure that you don't make the same mistakes and everything. And I can personally not see it in the same way that they are seeing it, okay? Not because it's something I cannot get over, because definitely eventually I will, but at the same time it's because it affected my feelings directly. It affected my pride as a medical assistant, as a professor, as a professional, as an adult, as whatever you want, because I thought that I was doing everything right and I was actually doing my best. Anyhow, whenever you're fighting with these feelings, one of the hardest things to do is actually not feel isolated, not feel lonely. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about that sensation, that feeling of loneliness that we get whenever we are in a problem that we feel. Because, for example, in my case, I feel that nobody can truly understand, because in the end it was my profile as a worker, it was my uh, performance as a professor, as a medical assistant, which they decided to just throw off the college. And everybody tells me like you were doing good and everything, but in the end I have that voice in the back of my head that tells me, well, you were not good enough, you were not doing it right, you screwed up. And it doesn't matter how much we actually want to fight that kind of feelings, it's almost impossible. And I don't mean it in a way that, okay, you gotta resignate, it's always gonna be like that, you're always gonna feel like that, you're always gonna feel that you're not enough. No. It's simply because I believe it's human nature. If you guys listen to my podcast, everybody, I'm gonna always have the links in the description of the video, and I'm gonna have it also in the description of my channel. I have a podcast that it's also called the Wolfpack. So I'm trying to go with that same concept. Anyhow, I love music. Music is actually one of my biggest escapes ever. And there is a musician, a rapper, that he's from Spain. His name is Litos. I actually love his music. It's one of the things that helps me to express myself the most. I am not that good with words for myself. I mentioned it before, I'm from Guatemala, so I'm Latin American. I was born and raised down there in Guatemala. I actually moved to the US formally 5 years ago, almost 6. And we are a culture in reality, even if they try to hide it at this point, because they say like, oh, you cannot keep having that idea and mentality and whatever. We're still like that. We are a culture that doesn't allow to feel. For us, even if we don't like saying it, feelings basically represent a way of weakness. And it's not because they actually represent that. It's not because they actually make you weak. Completely the opposite. Now that I'm a little bit older and I'm able to understand more about what being an adult is, what being a human is, for that matter, like it's a lot more general than that. Feeling actually lets you live happily. It lets you not carry an extra load on top of you all the time. When you are capable of expressing your feelings, of understanding your mental health, that not everybody it's doing fine all the time, it actually feels a lot better. When I was able to, I guess the word it would be, acknowledge my own depression, my own anxiety, it became a lot more manageable because I didn't have to hide it. I was not lying to myself anymore. I was not trying to hide behind that curtain of stoicness, I want to call it that way, that I was raised on. Because I remember my parents always told me, and this is not talking bad about them, because in the end it's how they were raised as well. So the change eventually has to happen, which it takes a while, it takes generations. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to start making some of that change. I remember my parents used to tell me all the time, like, don't be so negative, don't be so sad, you just need to get up and walk. But that actually just made me feel worse, because it made me feel, again, I keep going with that same exact term, isolated. It made me feel lonely. And that especially happened because I felt that I was doing something wrong by feeling. And guys, this is actually part of what the actual purpose of the Wolfpack is for me. I want you guys to feel. I want you guys to accept who you are, accept and embrace your feelings. And in this case, for you guys to be able to, how can I explain it? Interesting. For you guys to be able to express yourself, feel without actual fear of your own feelings, okay? This goes for anybody from Latin America. This goes for anybody from any country in the world. I make no distinctions. Guys, I have lived in the US for the last almost 6 years, and I went to college, I got married, I have lived in with different cultures. I have actually got to experience how complicated does it become when you feel that you don't belong, especially to the ethnic group that it's around you, the dominant ethnic group and stuff, because I actually had a lot of experiences myself. I mentioned it before, me and my wife, we are an interracial couple. You guys can actually see we made a little bit of a picture in my X. I don't like calling it that way. I prefer to call it Twitter, but anyhow, in my X, I posted a picture that literally shows my hand and my wife's hand. Not because of anything bad, actually, it's something that we embrace a lot and we enjoy. Like explaining to everybody that we're not from the same culture, we're not from the same ethnic group, that in spite of how many social taboos are there, we have been able to actually live a really happy life together. And we don't care what people say, we don't care what people think. We are actually very simple in that aspect, because it gets annoying. It gets simply annoying. It's terrible to hear how everybody just pushes you away because you're a little bit different. The place where my wife comes from, it's a little town in Utah. Again, I'm not gonna be saying specific names because I don't want to talk crap about places, because in the end I also had good experiences. I met some good people and everything. It's true that I had experiences that kind of marked me because they were very complicated, but that doesn't mean that there was no good. Okay, actually, one of my best friends still there. My wife's parents, which I truly care for, I really love. They are like a mother and a father for me. They are still there, and I know a lot of wonderful people there. So I also don't want to discredit the place more than necessary. So anyhow, interesting. I have never seen a black rabbit before. Oh, that's sweet. Anyhow, I remember when we first moved there. I had a lot of issues because when I first moved to the US, I didn't thought that those things that you see on videos here on YouTube, in social media, TikTok and everything, where people just goes and attacks a person because they don't speak English, because they look different or whatever. I always thought that it wasn't like the most accurate thing or the most realistic thing, way to say it. I always thought that it was just people trying to pull things out of context, and I don't know, maybe they got in a fight before the video started rolling and we're only seeing like the aftermath of it. But well, that actually changed a lot when I moved there. And I keep saying I don't mean it in a necessarily bad way. It was just learning experiences for me. I remember one day I was walking around, I was in a Walmart, and it was fine. It's the only Walmart in that area. And I was on the bank talking with my parents. My parents don't speak English at all. And I had my mom on the phone because before moving to the US for my wedding, like before, moving formally, I was still working back in Guatemala. I was working in a call center. I was an IT for a call center. And well, My last wages, I brought them here with me. I had my debit card and everything you guys can imagine. Like, I know that my currency, my money from Guatemala didn't actually meant that much in here, but at least I was able to pay a few months of rent. I could pay for some services and whatever. So I had to look for special types of ATMs so that I could use my card from Guatemala and actually withdraw cash. Because many of the businesses here in the US, they require for you to have an actual address. Like the billing address from here in the US, you need to have a zip code and everything, and they don't accept your payment methods unless you have it. So I remember I was just on the phone because, banks, they have to have certain level of security and everything. So when they suddenly see that somebody, because they don't know it's me, it's using my debit card in the middle of Utah, in the middle of a town in the middle of nowhere, they of course blocked it because they were like, okay, this is not normal. I got on the phone, my mom is helping me to do it because I couldn't call the actual company because I couldn't. My phone plan didn't have the ability to do that. So I called my mom on the internet. I called her through WhatsApp, and we were trying to fix the whole situation. I remember I was talking with my mom in Spanish. She doesn't speak English. It was just a normal conversation, and I was honestly pissed, and not with her, I must add. I was pissed at the bank because the bank was actually making it so much harder. They were actually giving so much trash about why they didn't want to unlock my card, that I had to go physically to an agency, to a branch, and I had to present myself and give them all my documents of identity and whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm in the US. It cannot work that way. Well, let's go from there. I remember I was speaking in Spanish. I was kind of stressed, and suddenly, out of the complete blue, I felt a hit on my back, and I turned around because I honestly got shocked. I had no clue what was going on, and I will never forget this. There was this guy. I don't want to say stereotypes because I don't like when people stereotype, so I don't want to do the same myself. But, in the end, there's only so much you can actually be able to express without stereotyping. So this guy, he was the perfect old movie stereotype of what a redneck is. Oh god, I will never forget that. And he was wearing a tank top, a white tank top. He had, the half log or open log, I don't know how they call it, the beard and mustache connected, and he was wearing a trucker hat and polarized glasses in the back. And I remember he was wearing very, very, very tight jeans. And I remember that because he was fairly taller than me. Like, I can tell you, maybe a foot taller than me. And he was very skinny. That's why I remember it. Like, he was very skinny, but still he was strong. And that was actually the first time I ever heard that phrase. If you're in America. I have never in my life heard that term before. The apostrophe MERACA. Oh gosh, I remember asking my wife what exactly the heck this means, and she's like, oh, that's how they say it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Anyhow, I remember he chest bumped me, like he was challenging me to fight, and yelled at me that if I was in America, I had to learn how to speak American, and I couldn't speak like that anymore, like, speaking Spanish. I didn't know how to react. It actually caught me way off guard. I just remember blinking really fast, like, what the heck is going on? I'm also gonna be completely real with you guys. I was not afraid. I honestly was completely in shock. I didn't know what was going on because it caught me way off guard. And thankfully, his girlfriend, I will assume it was a girlfriend, I don't know, because they seem around the same age. She went into the Walmart and grabbed him by the neck of the shirt and dragged him out. And in that moment, I was feeling a lot better. Anyhow, those experiences actually, they leave a mark. They leave a really very hard to erase mark. It's almost impossible, to be completely honest, to be able to forget all those kind of situations. Not because I want to keep harboring any type of hard feeling or anything like that, because believe me, I would love to actually get completely out of those kind of things. But it's really hard because you feel that you are inadequate, you feel that you're not doing the things right, you feel that whatever the mistake was yours. For the longest time, and believe me, I really mean it, the longest time, I didn't want to go to Walmart myself. I was always taking my wife with me. Not because I was afraid, not because she was gonna protect me, simply because even though people used to still make faces and everything whenever they would see us because we were a mixed race couple, they wouldn't say much. If I was by myself, they would challenge me. If I was with her, they would calm down a little bit and they would still insult me and stuff like that, but not as aggressively as they did it when I was by myself. I remember with my wife, we actually lived a few issues a couple of times. I was very impressed about this. I remember there was a time that we were in one of the local stores in the place where we lived, and we were just shopping around. I remember there was a group of teenagers. There were not so much teenagers. They were young adults. Like, we're talking about, I don't know, 19, 20 years old. They were looking at us, and they actually kept tracking us. You know, you can feel their eyesight through the entire store, and it felt real uncomfortable. My wife and I, we were just talking, fooling around. We're the type of people that we're always making jokes, we're always trying to make people laugh, and that includes each other. We try to make each other laugh and feel better because, you know what, in the end, she's my wife, I'm her husband, and we are our support group. Because no matter what, we will always be there for each other. Like, that's the purpose of a marriage, right? So we were just talking, checking recipes and everything. FYI, I'm a little bit of a chef, so I'm the one that is always in charge of cooking and stuff. But that doesn't mean that I decide every time, because, you know, it becomes very stressful. So I was actually asking her, like, what do you want to do? What would you like to eat? And we were checking recipes. I remember I called my mom to ask her about a recipe because my wife loves to eat Guatemalan food, which I have absolutely no complaint against. You guys know, your cultural food is actually sacred. So I was talking with my mom, and I was like, Mom, how do you do this? I don't remember, and whatever. And suddenly these kids passed by. One of them bumped me with his shoulder or his chest. Honestly, I don't know. I was looking backwards because I was on the phone, and like, he pushed me really hard, like one of those ones that they move you extremely hard. And my wife in that moment, of course, being the angel that she is, she defended me. Like, she like yelled at them like they were stupid and everything, which I agree 100%. And that's what it actually surprised us. Like that, I will be completely honest, caught us off guard. One of these kids, I call everybody who's younger than me a kid. She turned around and yelled at my wife that she was just a traitor to her race, or traitor to the blood. I don't recall, because we actually got yelled both things, just in different moments. So I don't remember if this one she called the race or she called the blood, whatever. And she spit at my wife's feet. I have always been a very sociable person. My wife says that I have the personality of a golden retriever because I know how to make friends anywhere, under any context. I simply attract people, being friendly, being nice, being authentic as much as I can. And, it's mostly just the fact of living my life with the concept of I don't give a crap. I won't judge you, so don't judge me. And if you need help, I won't judge. Just come and ask me. That's precisely the point and purpose of me starting this channel, of me starting this podcast, because that is precisely what I want to do. Just, I want to do it on a bigger scale now. Anyhow, I remember feeling completely isolated. I was scared of going out to the streets. Not because these people actually scare me, because they didn't, but because you feel that you're doing something wrong. It simply becomes a self-imposed taboo, if you want to call it something. I was actually trying to get over it, and it's really hard. Even today, we moved approximately 3 years ago, and even today it's really hard. I still isolate myself, and it's hard to talk to people. I mentioned before, if you guys listen to my podcast, my most recent episode, at least the one that I recorded yesterday, it's called Friendship. I was talking about that, it's very hard as an adult to make friends, to recognize who actually is a friend and who is not, because a lot of people around you are not gonna like you because they like you. They're gonna talk to you, they're gonna be nice with you, they're gonna be polite with you because they have an agenda, because they want to be polite, but that doesn't mean that they actually accept you, like you, and you're gonna be part of their community. They're gonna make you part of their world, which in the end it's not the main purpose. You like who you like, you don't who you don't, simple. But I remember I met a lot of people in school, I met a lot of people at work. I used to work in a hospital, medical assistant, like I mentioned, and it was very limited who I was able to talk to that I could actually keep an actual connection with. And I remember feeling completely isolated, and I keep making use of that word because it's how it feels. It feels a special type of loneliness, a special type of coldness and emptiness. And I remember talking even with my parents and telling them like, hey, I'm not okay, things are not alright, I don't feel good. And they literally told me, well, shake it off and keep walking. Nowadays, years later, I'm already 30. I still feel bad. I still feel lonely. Especially in situations like, for example, what I'm going through right now with my employment search. It's really hard at this point for me to not feel that way. I guess it's one of the main triggers that they affect your insecurity, right? Because they actually hurt my pride, and now it becomes really hard to try to actually give myself, well, I guess the right description would be my self-worth, because it makes me doubt and hesitate. Like, am I doing it right? Am I doing something wrong? Was it my mistake? It doesn't matter how much you think about it, how much you try to get over it, it's always really hard. Whatever, let's give a little bit of a twist to the topic. Why am I talking about loneliness? It's very easy. Because I want to give you a safe space. I want to give you the option for you guys to actually make this your refuge. I can barely speak. I know that there's gonna be many situations in which we're gonna feel that nothing is working, nothing is right, nobody understands us. And like I mentioned, I love music, and my favorite Spanish rapper, because he's a rapper, he's a poet, his artistic name, it's Litos. He has actually mentioned one phrase that I think that it's incredibly accurate in many of his songs, and it is, gosh, it hurts me to actually accept how accurate it is. Negativity, or well, he says pessimism specifically, it's addictive. It's okay to cry when you feel bad, but don't let it take your life. And it's really hard. I personally have gone through that experience many times. I'm personally going through it right now. Like I mentioned, there's many challenges when thinking about, oh crap, I almost got killed by drowned. There's many challenges whenever you lose a job, especially in a situation like I did. Guys, let me put it this way, the state workforce, they reviewed my case and everything, and even they said that they don't think it's my fault to have been terminated. They are actually appealing right now with my employer. They are talking to them like, hey, this is not alright, this is wrongful termination, you guys gotta do something to fix it. I don't know if it's actually gonna be worthy or not, because, you know, companies, they have big lawyers, they don't give a crap about people, so I don't have any hope about it. So, going back, it feels bad, and it's always gonna feel bad, but that doesn't mean that it's always gonna be bad. I don't know if you understand what I mean, where I'm trying to actually say with this. Guys, everything that we do in this life, it's gonna be complicated. If it's not complicated, and if it wasn't hard, it was not worth it. But we also need to understand that we are not alone. Things are gonna work out one way or another. I want to give you guys the chance to have a space where you can message me at any time, where you can actually send me your ideas, your concerns, everything that you have inside of yourself. What do you want to talk about? Do you have any question? Do you have any concern? Do you have something that it's making you feel bad? It can be absolutely anything. I have friends of any age. I have friends. Ooh, there's a drone in there. Yellow, buddy. I have friends in many different social and economic stratas, many different cultures. Like my wife, like I mentioned before, she's from the US, she's white. I honestly don't feel afraid of saying these kind of things at all. I am Latino. My best friend is from Peru. Well, one of my two best friends is from Peru. The other one, she's from Ukraine. She's like my little sister. She just had a baby. And guys, believe me, I'm here for you. Whenever you feel that loneliness in your life, it's starting to kick in, look for me. Talk to me. Message me. Make comments in my videos. Make comments on my podcast. No, how do you say that? I honestly don't even know how to conjugate correctly with Twitter or with X. I'm so not familiar with it. So mention me in Twitter, and I'll be there. I'm gonna be helping you guys at any point, anything that you need. Of course, I'm gonna give you money. I'm gonna do those kind of stuff. I'm also not gonna put myself through that hole, but anything that it's on my hands, support, a friend, ideas, be your, I don't know, soundboard or something like that, I will be more than happy to do it. Why do I offer this? Why am I putting myself in this position? Simply because, again, there is a level of satisfaction and happiness that some of us start recognizing and feeling whenever we have the chance to actually help somebody. Why do you think I'm in the medical field? Ask anybody who is in the medical field. It is incredibly hard. It is incredibly stressful. But I wouldn't change it. Because seeing the smile of a patient, seeing the smile of the family when everything starts getting better, it's something priceless. That satisfaction that not only I'm doing my work, but also that feeling that it has a purpose. It's something I wouldn't change ever. And that is part of what I want to do here. I don't know you. You don't know me anything. It's on you if you decide to trust me or not. I'm not gonna force you. And actually, even if I knew you, even if I was in person there, sitting next to you while you're listening to this, I'm not gonna force you. You wanna tell me your problems, you wanna look for help, I'll give you a hand. You don't want to and you just wanna wait, I'll give you a seat. You feel that things are not worth it, well, I'll show you that they are. You feel that everything it has lost meaning and you cannot do anything else and you're completely done with it. Guess what? I'm gonna show you things are still worth it. I'm a very naive person and I'm very stubborn. So nobody is gonna take my position to show you how much I care, how much your family cares, how much this life is worth it, how much you are worth it. Something I would have loved to hear when my wife and I were back in that place that I mentioned. Again, I'm not going to be saying names. And I truly would have loved it. You are not alone. Trust me. I'll show you that things can be different. I make it in this way. I want to do it in a way that it's gonna be like a friend's talk. I don't want to do it like if this was a therapy, because I know that it doesn't feel comfortable. I have been through many of those instances myself, and I know it's not comfortable. So I want to make it in a way that it's a safe space. I'm never gonna get tired of that phrase. You wanna know why? Because that's the real purpose of this. For you to have somewhere where you can talk, somewhere where you can actually express yourself, be yourself, say what it's inside of you, not be alone anymore. We're gonna be your Wolfpack. Just as a little bit of a background, I did a slight mention yesterday. I decided to call this the Wolfpack. Why? Because when wolves get separate from their packs, it's not always because of the same reason. There's actually multiple different motives why this happens. The most common ones being because they are looking for a mate. They're looking for a couple. Because they are trying to start their own pack. Because they saw bigger prey that nobody else saw, and they want to catch it. Because they felt too big for the pack, and they feel that they need to grow over it. There's many different reasons. Because they feel that the places where they are stuck are not good anymore, and they need to find greener grass. And I don't mean it as in grass literally, you know what I mean, like find new prey in different spots. And they leave. Now, one of the strongest reasons why wolves are apex predators, it's because when they hunt as a pack. That's why they are so good at what they do. They don't have that many predators to themselves because they protect each other. Now, what is going to happen if one of them decides to go alone? It's going to become immediately a risk for themselves. It's going to be immediately exposed. Just like that. Right? So, that is precisely my point. I want to give you that respawn chance and spot where you can sit down. I'm a huge gamer. I love video games. You guys are gonna see that. If you guys, I want to make this parenthesis again, I have ADHD. You guys are gonna see me going squirrel all the time. You know, from the Up movie, the squirrel in the middle of a conversation. If you guys want me to get specific games for me to do, I don't know, like little tutorials, gameplays, you guys are gonna see me being a perfect moron trying to pass games. Tell me. I'll be happy to make a fool of myself and make you laugh while I show you how incompetent I am as a gamer. Anyhow, so I want to give you guys, let's think about a game that I think it depicts that image very, very well. Dark Souls. When you finally find that campground, that I forgot how do we call it. How do you call it? I'm sorry guys, when you speak more than one language, sometimes your brain completely fogs out. Or one of these ones, when you find your fire thingy. Fogata, I don't know. Spanish is my first language, guys, so you guys are gonna see me switching languages often. When you find your fogata, when you find your fireplace, you can sit down and rest, recover, have a moment for yourself, and realize that not everything is as dark and painful as it seemed for a moment. I hate getting stuck on those things because I'm here for you guys. You want me to be your alpha, I will be your alpha. You want me to be your support, I'll be your support. You want me to be your confident, I will be your confident. So let me know, talk to me. Comment on my videos, comment on my podcast. And now we'll be there paying attention to what you need, and I'll be happy to help. Now, just to finish, because this actually extended a lot more than I expected. Originally, I just had thought to do like 20-30 minutes. Look for me in Spotify. Look for me in Apple Podcasts. Look for the Wolfpack, the podcast. Because that one, I'm gonna be touching the same topics, but I'm gonna be expanding more in a thoughtful side. I'm gonna be telling more stories and everything. These ones are more like casual talks that I want to have with you guys, especially while I'm gaming, because I want to make it more ameno. I don't know honestly how that translates. I want to make it more comfortable for you guys, so that you don't feel like you're having your therapy hour. So let me know in the comments. Let me know on X. I still hate to say that. Let me know in Twitter what you want me to talk about in the podcast and in here. Let me know what games do you think it would be nice for us to pass together, to share. Well, I'm also gonna be 100% real with you guys. What games you would like to see me shaming myself? As you can see, just precisely mentioning it. And I will be happy to make this part of our Wolfpack, of our family. It doesn't matter how complicated things look. Oli. Ah! Oh, there's another village. That's cool. I'm gonna make a little bit of design here. Oh, I didn't know he was coming out. That was just pure luck. Woo! Anyhow, I'm gonna be happy to give this Wolfpack a little reality check on the aspect of I'm an idiot, and I can show you that there's a way in which you can actually enjoy life that way. I really like saying those kind of things. I just want to go to the house where I was staying, the little house where I found the bed, so that we can save this game and leave it here for now. Oh, that is a lot deeper than I expected. Let me see it. Yep. Ah! You see, I don't need mobs. I can kill myself without any problem. Okay, let's see. Ooh, you rarely see that kind of structure. Nice. Oh gosh. Let's go. Let's find our little place. By the way, I'm also gonna be starting soon. The subscription in the channel where you can, actually subscribe to my channel, please. But how do they call it? Like, you know what I mean? When you can become a member. I forgot how it's called. Here and in Spotify. I'm also gonna start a Patreon because I want to make this grow. And those of you guys that decide to become members, those of you guys that decide to help us with the Patreon, I'm gonna be making servers. We can actually play. We're gonna open a Discord. You guys are gonna have early access to my videos, to my podcast, to my content in general. I'm gonna be seeing ways to actually reward you for giving that vote of trust to me. And we're gonna be seeing how to make things evolve little by little from here. Guys, I really hope you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Let me know in your comments what do you want me to talk about in my next video and in my next podcast. And I will see you later. So remember, my Wolfpack, howl at me if you need me, and I'll be hearing you. So, don't be scared.